Today I'm going to be talking about Nikola Jokic, and throughout the video just analyzing really how good he has been this season so far for the Denver Nuggets, absolutely playing like an MVP once again this year, and then answering the question I put in the title at the end of the video is he actually the best player in the NBA right now? And this is a conversation that we definitely have to throw Jokic into, and I'm going to, like I said, analyze it a lot throughout today's video. And what basically kind of inspired this video, I wanted to do it before this even as well, but as probably a lot of you guys know, Jimmy High Roller recently made a very good video analyzing Nikola Jokic and explaining why he thinks Nikola is the very best player in the NBA right now. And in this video he talked about a lot of things and did the typical Jimmy High Roller thing of giving many stats and showing graphs to show just how good Jokic is. And something I like is how he talked about just how much of a margin it is between Jokic's box plus minus stats and player efficiency rating stats between the other players in the current NBA, and how he's setting all-time records in those numbers. And we have to admit that these numbers are slightly inaccurate, but this is obviously extremely impressive for Jokic, as he by far leads the league this season in player efficiency rating, offensive and defensive box plus minus. But like I said, these can be slightly inaccurate stats, but still very impressive here. So what I'm going to be doing in today's video is also giving my analysis on each aspect of Jokic's game, and then, like I said, ultimately deciding who I think is the best player in the NBA right now, which is a very interesting debate as well. So let's get into my analysis. So I'm going to start off by talking about Jokic's scoring ability, which is absolutely very unique, and that's what really stands out about it, is just how different Jokic's scoring style is compared to not only other big men across the NBA, but really just NBA players in general, as not only can he just use his size a lot in the post and play like a traditional big man, but he can also shoot those one-footed fadeaway jumpers. He can turn around in the post and shoot those little mid-ranges. He's very good in the pick and pop at just popping out to the top of the key and consistently knocking down that three. And this season too, just because the Nuggets have had very bad luck with injuries and horrible depth throughout the year, and have not had Michael Porter Jr. or Jamal Murray for most of the season, Jokic has also got the opportunity to actually create his own shot off the dribble a lot of the times, and is really showing just how unique of a scorer he is there. And overall, like I mentioned, he's a good post scorer, and in terms of all three levels of scoring at the rim, mid-range, and the three, Jokic is very effective at all three of these levels. Another thing I really like about that Jimmy High Roller video is how he mentioned that people don't really give Jokic as much recognition as guys like LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Giannis, all of them, because Jokic isn't necessarily fun to watch play from a lot of the casual fans across the NBA. Because really, when you watch Jokic play, he is a lot more lethargic. He's pretty slow out there, but if anything, I would argue that he's actually one of the most fun players to watch in the NBA because of how unique of a scorer he really is, and how he can do things like shoot those turn away jumpers off of 1 foot and really be, in my opinion, the most fun big man to watch offensively in the NBA. And when we look at scoring across the league with big men, it's still a debate between Jokic, Joel Embiid, who's still a very good post player, and Karl Anthony Towns, who can really shoot that three as well. But I do give it to Jokic because of just how efficient he is and just how good he has been this season, with also creating his own shot, like I mentioned. And when we look at his overall stats scoring wise this season, Jokic is just going absolutely insane, putting up so far this year 26.3 points per game on an insane 59% from the field, 36% from three, and an overall 65.7 true shooting, which for this year is almost 10% above average. So an insane scoring here from Jokic, and very unique, which is what I really like to watch. And then of course we gotta talk about probably the most unique part of Jokic's offensive game, which is his playmaking. And especially last year when he did win MVP, we saw how good of a playmaker he was, and he definitely has continued that into this season. And this is what really could potentially give him an edge over some of the other top players in the league, or at least get him into that conversation of being one of the top players of the league, especially offensively, as Jokic definitely has one of the highest basketball IQs in the NBA right now. He does a good job of making the right pass at the right time, having fantastic court vision, and drawing double teams sometimes in the post and making that right pass at the right time, and creates a lot of great sequences of ball movement for his team and creates a lot of easy baskets for his teammates as well. If you ask me, I think he's definitely a top 5 playmaker in the game right now, easily the best playmaking big man of all time already, and that's not even close. And then when we talk about his all-time rank in terms of playmaking in general, I mean, we got to start having the conversation that he's getting up there as well. I mean, his basketball IQ is just so high, and the stats back it up here as well. So far this season, he's putting up 7 assists per game and has only put up about 3.4 turnovers per game, which is actually pretty impressive considering just how bad the Nuggets spacing is on this team. So this does give him a pretty good assist to turnover ratio here, considering how bad his team and supporting cast has been this season with all the injuries on this team. So overall, Jokic is a fantastic passer, a very good playmaker, in my opinion. Like I said, easily a top 5 playmaker in the game right now, and this just makes him that much more potent of an offensive player. Jokic is also one of, if not the very best rebounder in the game right now, which I know this is a really little thing, but it's got to factor in here as well. When we look at some stats here, Jokic is averaging 13.4 rebounds per game so far this year, which is second in the league, 6.8 contested rebounds per game, which is number 1 in the league and pretty much by far, as Jonas Valanciunas is second at 5.4, and Jokic also has a very impressive 51.2% contested rebound percentage. So when you watch him play, he really does use his size to his advantage to get a lot of those rebounds, and when he gets those rebounds offensively, because of his size and his height, he can easily put it back up and through the hoop when he gets that offensive rebound. And the Nuggets actually get quite a few points off of Jokic simply just cleaning up the glass and putting it back through. And then defensively, Jokic, like I said, he really uses his size to get those rebounds, and when he does, it really creates an advantage for the Nuggets because he can run kind of like that point center position, bring the ball up the floor, and he's already looking for those full court passes as well when he gets those defensive rebounds. So just another little thing here I wanted to add on. Overall, Jokic is averaging over 26 points per game, over 13 rebounds per game, and over 7 assists per game, and doing this with efficient scoring as well, and also almost getting a steal on the block per game. So when you're facing the team that has Jokic in fantasy, I know from experience that is not fun experience at all. And then lastly here, we gotta mention the biggest improvement to Jokic's game, which has been his defense. And Jokic's defense has really kind of been a confusing aspect of the game for a while. I mean, my opinion on it is that overall, before this year, he's kind of been more of an average defender, but when you put him in the pick and roll, it really depends on who he's facing, but sometimes he can be a liability. For example, last year we saw how he was going up against the pick and roll of Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul was just able to destroy him in that mid-range area. But this year, Jokic has come back as a completely different defender, and honestly has given himself a case to be one of the better defenders in the NBA, and he's absolutely an over-average defender now, with his ability to defend the pick and roll much better than he did last season, be able to kind of do that thing where you guard 2 guys at once a little bit. He's able to switch on to smaller guards much better than he did last year. That's still a little bit of a weakness for him, but he is getting better there. And then really just his overall interior defense, meeting guys at the rim, blocking shots much better than he has really throughout his career. He's getting better here as well. So overall, Jokic's defense has really improved, and we can no longer say that the defensive gap between him and some of the other elite players in the NBA is what holds him back from being in that top tier of players, because his defense is definitely good now. So now it's time for the most difficult part of the video, answering the question, is Nikola Jokic the best player in the NBA? And to be completely honest, I really don't have a full answer, but if I had to completely answer it, I actually would say no, because in my opinion, I think that Steph Curry is still the best player in the NBA right now. At the end of last season, despite his team not even making the playoffs, I did think that he was the best player in the NBA, and I actually made a video on that if you guys want to check that out for some analysis on that situation. But really just because of obviously how insane insane of an overall scorer and shooter he is, how I think he's one of, if not the very best playmakers in the league, with not only his passing, but just also his off-ball movement and just how much really impact he has on that offense and how he's led his team to being probably the best team in the NBA right now. And then same thing with Jokic. A lot of the time people have been saying Steph is a bad defender, but he's really improved that defense this year. So I think between those two specifically, it is very, very close, but this is why I like doing tiers instead of actual rankings. Rankings, I still do like to do them, but they're just so hard to rank every single player in the NBA. Like when we look at the top 5 players right now, at least in my opinion, and this is really the top tier in the NBA, Steph Curry, LeBron James with really his recent play, Jokic like I've discussed in today's video, along with Kevin Durant and Giannis. All 5 of these guys have, in my opinion, a really, really strong case to be the best player in the NBA. And I mentioned this in one of the videos I made just before the NBA season, the 2021 and 2022 NBA season started, is something, one of the most interesting, if not the most interesting narrative throughout the course of the entire season, is going to be this best player debate, because we really haven't seen the title of best player in the NBA be up for grabs for a long time, as LeBron has really dominated that for really the last decade. But right now, like I mentioned, all 5 of these guys really have a strong case to be that best player in the NBA. And personally, if I really had to choose, I would take Steph Curry, but that's not the point of today's video. The point of today's video was to analyze Nikola Jokic and show you guys that he absolutely deserves to be in that top tier of top 5 players of the NBA currently playing right now, which by the way, I actually didn't mention Kawhi. If he's playing healthy, he could be in there too. But when we talk about Jokic, among the casual fans in the NBA, probably a lot of them won't consider him in that really top tier and top 5 players alongside big names like Steph Curry, LeBron, Giannis, Kevin Durant. But Nikola Jokic is absolutely in that conversation and has a very strong case to be the #1 player in the NBA right now. So there you have it. That's all I've got for you guys in today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I want to hear your guys' opinion on this conversation too. So be sure to leave your comments down below on your thoughts on Nikola Jokic this season and who you think is the best player in the NBA right now in 2021 and 2022. And I'll see you all next video.